It's been a frustrating May for Scott Kazmir. After a remarkable April where he had an ERA under 1 in 4 starts, the following month has not been kind. 2 losses and an ERA over 5 has Scott searching for his early season rhythm. Tonight he'll get a good chance to redeem himself as he takes the hill versus the team that traded for him when he was a minor leaguer. Kazmir played for Tampa until 2009, where he was a 2-time All-Star, and he helped the Rays win the American League pennant in 2008. Kazmir and the A's taking the Rays. Game 2 next.
Friday Night Baseball from Tropicana Field in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a dome. We're indoors, and we have a marquee pitching matchup tonight. That's Chris Archer, young right-hander for the Rays, and Scott Kazmir, the lefty for the Athletics. 2 very good starters, so it should be lots of pitching tonight. Game 2 of the series. It's the A's and the Rays coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Scott Kazmir back in the building where his career started. And, Ray, he was good back then when he was at the Rays. He's good now, but a much different kind of pitcher.
Well, he was a fastball pitcher there, and he could throw at about 98 miles per hour coming from the Mets, a big trade that the Tampa Bay Rays made at that time. You look what Kazmir has done or did in the month of April. He was perfect. I mean, he gave up nothing. He had a winning record, but unfortunately in the month of May that has not been the case. He's still pitching the same, maybe going a little bit deeper, but he's not getting a lot of run support, and that seems to be pretty common, unfortunately, with what is happening now with the Athletics. But Scott Kazmir, I don't know, a lot of these guys remember him, but he did pitch well for the Rays.
Now, Chris Archer's going to take the mound for the Rays. He hasn't been in the big leagues a long time, but he's never faced the A's, and it's pretty simple, Ray. He's one of the best starting pitchers in the American League.
He's got an outstanding fastball. He elevates his pitches very well and gets away with it, and we know what happens if you throw a good fastball. He's 1-4. Look at the elevation. High slider. He had a swing and miss. High fastball, another swing and miss. So he likes to pitch up in the zone, and if you lay off the pitch, he's going to walk you. He strikes out a lot because a lot of hitters will swing at that high fastball.
So Archer looking for his 5th win of the year. Kazmir looking for his 3rd win. Up next, we'll check in with the A's pregame live studios, and then we'll come back to Tropicana Field for lineups and first pitch between the A's and the Rays.
By Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota. #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code SLIDER for free entry.
Chris Archer and the Rays take the field. All white uniforms tonight for the Rays as we get set for Game 2 of this 4-game series here in St. Petersburg. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting today. Hot and humid outside, 89 degrees, so even a little bit warmer today than it was yesterday. But that's outside. We don't have to worry about that tonight. Indoors, inside of Tropicana Field. Let's look at the lineup tonight for the Athletics. It starts with the center fielder Billy Burns, then Eric Sogard hits second. Josh Reddick will be in right field hitting third. Billy Butler's the DH. Vogt will catch. Laurie hits sixth. Muncy seventh. Perino is in the game. Andy Perino. And Sam Fuld is in left field.
And the youngster Chris Archer, and we always talk about the great pitching of the Tampa Bay Rays. How do they continue to get it? Well, they've got it in this young man, Archer, who is 4-4 in the season, making his 10th start. He pitches well, just 16 walks in 54 innings. So a high fastball that we showed in our open in addition to the slider. He's a little animated on the mound, but he knows how to pitch, and I think he can back up everything he shows on the mound.
So Archer's ready. Billy Burns steps in, and the first pitch of the ball game is underway, and it's fouled down the left field line. So Archer and Kazmir, a couple of top-notch pitchers tonight.
I think the important thing tonight, Cap, is to see what kind of strike zone David Rackley has as the home plate umpire for Scott Kazmir as well as for this young man, because saw the first pitch was a high fastball, and he's going to elevate the fastballs, and if Rackley, the home plate umpire, does not call them, then that could make it beneficial for the A's, especially against Archer.
The rest of the umpires, Rob Drake at first, Joe West at second, Gabe Morales at third, and Joe West is the crew chief.
Hawkeye.
0-2 to Billy Burns. And that one missed inside. Not by much. 1-2 the count.
I don't know that it is, Scott, to be honest. They wanted the high fastball. It was down low, but remember, this camera is pretty much straight on center field, and umpire looking right at it.
On the ground is short. That says Drupal Cabrera, who scoops it up, throws, and they just get Burns by a half a step. Defensively for the Rays, looks like this. Joey Butler is in left field. Brandon Geyer in center. Steven Souza in right. Longoria, Cabrera, Beckham, and Loney third to first, with the catcher being Rene Rivera.
It looks like at least 3, third, first, and center, are deciding to go with the Sox, the same as Chris Archer, the pitcher.
And so is Eric Sogard.
And Sogard matches them with his, exactly. Green and gold versus the blue. There is Loney at first.
You know, the look is starting to grow on me a little bit.
Longoria at third.
I like the Rays. The color combination is kind of nice. It's kind of a gray, light blue with the dark blue. Not bad.
Geyer in center. So you got the corners on the infield, and the most important position up the middle, in addition to catcher, that is center field. We can't see what Rivera is wearing because he's got shin guards on. We'll have to see him when he hits. But Eric Sogard moved up in the second spot of the batting order. He said he's going to have to change his routine because he usually has 8 hitters to wait.
Hooks that one down the right field line, hit well. Home run distance, but just foul.
Think about a hitter who is accustomed to hitting ninth. He's got 8 hitters to watch a pitcher face them, and now he moves up to second. He has 1 hanging slider, and Sogard just happened to get out in front, waited back, and this unloaded.
A line drive and a base hit to center field. So it looked like a slider, and Archer has a good one, but Sogard not impressed. Lines it right back up the middle.
Difference of 1 inside that they pulled foul. This one, although Rivera wanted it down low, it stayed outside, and Sogard very nicely up the middle, left center with a 2-strike slider. So that's what you'll see at times where pitchers, catchers will back up certain pitches, especially if a hitter hits a ball hard. And that time Sogard did, and single to center, getting the same type of pitch.
So runner aboard. Here's Reddick. First pitch to Reddick is a fastball high. Reddick hitting .304, 6 home runs and 29 RBIs. He was 1 for 4 last night, struggling some. 2 hits in his last 16 at bats, but holding the average over 300.
I think it's happening to Reddick. He's selective. He knows the strike zone, but all of a sudden certain pitches that he thinks are balls are being called strikes, and it's frustrating because he has to change his approach. And of course a lot of that happens to be knowing who the umpire behind the plate is and their strike zone.
Home and road breakdown. Reddick's been very good at home. Off-speed pitch is outside, so 2-1. A's are 14-29. They've lost 7 out of 8. They're 9-15 at home. Could not get a whole lot going last night. Ended up being shut out for the 4th time this year. They had 6 hits, 1 extra base hit. That was the Burns triple. And a swing and a miss. So Archer went back to an off-speed pitch. Looked like Reddick was looking for something else.
2-1. A little backwards pitching and throwing the off-speed pitch with the count of 2-1 and the hitter's count. But Reddick with the slider that time. Archer changing the velocity on his slider. Threw them hard to Sogard, but to Reddick it was slower. Took off the slider and went fastball away.
2-2 pitch, here it is, and it was a fastball away, 95 miles an hour, and Reddick missed it. So that's out number 2. Well, we said, Ray, in the open of our show that Chris Archer is one of the best starting pitchers in the American League. You may not know a lot about him, but he's 8th in the league in ERA and 2nd in the league in strikeouts. He's 26 years old. Last year, first full year in the big leagues, made 32 starts. And an ERA of 3.33, won 10 games for the Rays. He can be a tough at bat. He elevates the fastball, and he's got a very good slider. And that's a good combination.
I thought also on those statistics showing the near 30% swing and misses. And that's pretty good when you have a put-away pitch, as he did with Reddick. I mean, he could have ended up having foul a pitch off and go to 3-2. Instead, he got him on the 2-2 with a swing and miss.
Butler fouls it back, and the count is 0-2. Archer was originally the Cleveland Indians draft pick, but he was traded to the Cubs for Mark DeRosa. That was way back in 2008. And then he went from the Cubs to the Rays in what was a very big trade from North Carolina. There's a shot into center field, a base hit on an 0-2 count.
And you see where Rivera wanted a high fastball again. So they like to give that target, except Billy Butler got on top of it. And if Evan Gattis is watching this, he said, throw me that high fastball. I can get on top of that. And Billy Butler did, as Archer delivered and then got out of the way with the ball right back up the middle. Just to then stare at him like Ventura. Hit a ball over him, stares at you.
He'll learn his lesson. Yep. So here's Vogt. 2 on, 2 out here in the first. And it's off the glove of the catcher Rene Rivera, and both the runners move up.
And if you have a former catcher as a manager, you hope he doesn't watch the video of this attempted block, because that's all it was, an attempt of backhanding. This is not your prototypical blocking of a ball. You don't backhand. You move your body in front. And it's a wild pitch, but that's a pitch that should have been blocked, really, if you think about the way it bounced. And if he moves his body and gets in front of it instead of trying to backhand it, So see if the A's can take advantage of a miscue by the catcher.
So 1-0 to Vogt. 9 home runs, 30 RBIs for Steven. Hitting .305. Low again. With that trade that I'm talking about, it was Archer, Robinson Chirinos, Sam Fuld, Brandon Guyer, and Hai-Chu Lee, an infielder from Chicago, for Matt Garza.
Yep.
It was the big
That's right.
Matt Garza trade. Garza went to the Cubs. And you know what? If you're going to trade a Matt Garza, who at the time was very good, you're going to get a young starter back.
Yep.
You hope it's somebody like Chris Archer, who is now one of the better pitchers around.
And how about a green light 3-0? Probably won't swing, but they're pitching around Stephen Vogt with first base now vacated. And Brett Lord in the on-deck circle. You see a 2-0 slider to Vogt. Pretty good indication.
3-0 pitch is in for a strike.
And that was a fastball location supposed to be outside, ended up being inside. And Rivera outside and up and in is the pitch, and a lot of movement, but David Rackley, the home plate umpire, called it. He throws a slider 3-1.
Threw a fastball, and Vogt fouls it back. So 3-2, second and third, 2 outs.
Well, this is the old cat and mouse, because as a hitter, you think, well, maybe they're not pitching to me. And then he throws me a 3-1 fastball. Maybe they are going to pitch to me.
Archer from the stretch. And he threw him a 3-2 slider, and he got Vogt swinging. So the A's strand a pair in the top of the first. Here come the Rays in the bottom of the first to face Scott Kazmir. Guyer in center, Souza in right, Longoria at third, Forsythe the DH, and Butler in left, Loney at first, Cabrera the shortstop, Tim Beckham is at second, and Rene Rivera is your catcher.
Scott Kazmir, the former, actually at the time they were called the Devil Rays, but now they're the Rays. But Scott Kazmir, an A, 49 strikeouts, 19 walks, looking for win number 3 for Scott Kazmir. A much different pitcher than what the Rays fans, I'm sure a lot of these Rays players have no idea what he used to throw like, but used to throw 95 to 98. Right now, a pitcher.
Defensively for the A's, Fuld, Burns, Reddick in the outfield, Laurie, Perino, Sogard, Muncy on the infield. Stephen Vogt is doing the catching. So Andy Perino back in the big leagues. And he's given Marcus Semien a day off. Marcus is, what, he had one day off this year?
Yeah, one day when Sogi played shortstop.
That was in Minnesota.
All right. Afternoon game.
So Kazmir's first pitch to Brandon Guyer is a fastball swing and a miss.
How about this? They're throwing the ball around the infield. Brett Lawrie is about 10 feet from Kazmir. Throws him a bullet.
Oh, of course.
I guess he's giving him a wake-up call, getting him ready. Everything is done hard and fast by the A's third baseman.
So 1-1 to Guyer. Kazmir has not won since April 13th. He won his first 2 starts. He beat the Rangers and he beat the Astros. And since then, he hasn't thrown necessarily poorly. But that's a 6-start stretch where he has not been able to get a win. Thus the 2-2 record, 3.08 ERA. So 2-2 the count to Guyer, Souza to follow, and then Longoria here in the bottom of the first inning. Inside, Rays are 23-19. They got a half-game lead over the Yankees in the AL East, and they're 12-9 at home. So they're surprising some people. 3-2 pitch, and Guyer went around. Flipped to first, out recorded there. Guyer tried to hold up on a pitch that was in the dirt, couldn't do it. So 1 out. So Andy Perino in the big leagues, and that is the transaction. Perino up. Edward Mujica placed on the disabled list. A fractured thumb, we saw that last night. So Mujica's going to be out for a little while. Perino gives the A's a little infield depth. And there will be more transactions to come in the next couple days.
Yeah, talking to Edward, fortunately the injury was not as bad as it looked whenever we saw it last night. I mean, bad enough to put him on the disabled list, but it's a slight fracture, and the crease in the thumb is what was hit, and that's why the blood resulted. And Walt Horn, the assistant trainer, had to wrap it the way he did.
So hopefully he won't be out too long. So Steven Souza, who was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts last night. Changeup is high.
Well, it's interesting with Guyer, the check swing on a 3-2. He was running looked like he thought his ball 4, and then by the time the ball's in the dirt and the appeal and all the things that happened, ended up being a strikeout, which is good for the A's.
Another changeup, this one in for a strike, so 2-2 the count.
I think Scott Kazmir could pitch with 2 pitches, fastball and changeup. They both look the same. He will throw different pitches, but by and large, it's those 2 that he has a lot of success.
And a fastball right by Souza, who now has struck out 5 straight times, so 2 outs. So this is the Mujica injury. Watch the right thumb. It just gets in the way.
All the gory details after this play occurred, especially from Muncy, and what had happened with the baseball in his glove at first base. And you could see the blood, but he said it just kind of took the thumb and pushed it back. And that's why the crease right in the thumb, as you look down on the crease, that's where it got it. But I tell you, it looked a lot more serious than what it was. Did require a couple of stitches, and it is fractured, but not a major fracture. But it's the pitching hand, it's the thumb.
Did he go? Yes, he did. So 0-2 to Evan Longoria, hitting .274, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs. So Kendall Graveman is in the notes that he will start tomorrow, so the A's will have to make another move tomorrow. And then on Monday, the A's hope to have Ben Zobrist back, so they will have to make a move on Monday as well. So there's a few things that still are coming up transaction-wise for the Athletics. Coco Crisp talking to the manager today. He was talking about Coco. Coco will not have surgery at this point. Disabled list is a possibility, but Coco is going to do his best to just get his neck feeling a little bit better, and they're going to have to, it's going to just be one of those things. They're going to have to monitor it a little bit like they did last year toward the end of the year. So that's the route that the A's are going. So Coco Crisp, a possibility for the disabled list. That is not for sure.
Well, the thing is, the A's are playing short already, and they cannot continue to play short. And Zobrist comes back on Monday, which he will, is expected to come back, and there's the DL on the left, and the list
Davis too.
Is long, and I think you're going to see at the bottom, Tyler Ladendorf was placed on the Major League 60-day disabled list to make room for Andy Perino on the roster, because Perino was not on the Major League roster, a 40-man roster, and so in order to call him up, he had to be added to the roster, which means somebody had to either be moved off, or in the case, Ladendorf, who was on, can go to the 60-day disabled list and able to take him off while he's on the DL. Too bad, young man was good.
I guess the 60-day disabled list, if you're on it, you don't count toward the 40-man roster. Is that correct?
Exactly. So you saw Griffin on it, Parker.
Sort of I mean, you can put somebody on that to make a spot on the 40-man, which
Hence
the
reason that Ladendorf was placed on that. Exactly right. You're exactly right with that assessment.
3-2 pitch is inside, so a 2-out walk to Longoria. So a lot going on for the A's. Trying to get guys back from injury, guys getting injured.
Not only a walk after 2 strikeouts, but 9-pitch walk on top of it. And as a result, the pitch count already high for Scott Kazmir in the first inning. When you walk and strike out hitters, that is going to elevate quickly.
So here's Logan Forsythe. Forsythe played second base last night. He's the DH tonight. Kevin Cash wants to keep him in the lineup. He's having a nice year. .300 the batting average.
Now, the guy that has the most hits off Scott Kazmir is not in the lineup tonight. It's David DeJesus, who had a big night last night for the Rays.
Yeah, you know what? DeJesus only has 3 at-bats this year against left-handed pitching, so that's a straight platoon. So David will enjoy the night off.
I couldn't believe what he said last night, Kai.
What did he say?
He said, because his hair is really longer than we've seen it. And I said, what's the deal with the hair? And he said, I'm going to California, so I have to let it grow. So what's the deal about California? But I guess that's his reasoning for having longer hair.
That makes no sense.
I know. That's what I told him. I said, you got to be kidding me. What is it that you think about that?
Tough play. Sogard throws, and they got him. It's a chopper right over the head of Kazmir, but Sogard, playing terrific second base, makes a nice play. No score after 1. Night off tonight. He was on last night. RBI double. That gave the Rays a 1-0 lead. And then, long home run for DeJesus. So he knocked in a couple of runs last night. He had a big night, and the Rays won the game 3-0. So David DeJesus, our T-Mobile game changer.
Yeah, we found out about Mr. Ackley's strike zone. That's the high strike that he's calling.
So Laurie to lead it off. Ooh, goes up there again. That one too high. 284 Laurie, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs. He was 1 for 4 last night with a couple of strikeouts. Bounces this one toward Asdrubal Cabrera, who charges, throws on the run, 1 away.
Cabrera has made 1 error. It was a line drive that dropped out of his glove. He's always been a very good shortstop. We saw him in Cleveland for many years. And I asked him, I said, how could you not get a multi-year deal? And he said there were clubs who wanted to play third. Sure. 3-year contract. He said, I didn't want to play third. He said he's 29. He said a little bit too young to move positions. I wanted to take the 1-year deal, which he did here. And I mean, we talked about defense last night, and basically seeing it again.
Long time shortstop for the Indians, and I know we started to hear it a little bit in Cleveland about, well, Cabrera, the range isn't quite there anymore, and it got me to thinking. He said the same thing about Johnny Peralta,
That's
and
right.
Johnny Peralta is still playing a pretty decent shortstop now with the Cardinals. I mean, they may not have the great range, but
what happens, the older you get, the more you play, you become more knowledgeable.
No question.
And you think of the great Cal Ripken Jr. and his consecutive streak. Remember all the games he played at shortstop. Not your prototypical shortstop. He was big, but every time you looked up, he was in front of a wall because he knew how to position himself to not have to worry about great range. And I think Cabrera, because he's been around, and this Rays staff seems to be the type of pitchers that, unlike last night, though, Colomé threw the slider to Burns that went away from the defense, but you see the defense and you know how to position players based on what the pitchers are going to be doing.
2-1 to Muncy. And over the course of a season, you may be better off with that type of defense from the shortstop spot than a guy who may have great range, but be making a lot of errors. See the switch, Longoria now to the right side of second base.
Well, that's what Longoria said. As it turns out, they get the more natural shortstop at the position. In the case of Cabrera, last night with Franklin, it was different for Longoria and Franklin, as we saw Longoria stay on the left side. But now, after a couple of strikes, when it's unlikely that there's going to be any sort of a bunt attempt, as Muncy did last night in the 9th inning, Longoria probably the stronger arm to charge, as he did and almost throughout Muncy, but it's Cabrera at the natural position.
Slider rolled toward the Rays dugout. So 3-2, Muncy hitting .290. He's got 9 hits and 31 at-bats, 3 doubles and a couple of home runs. And a hard slider, and that's a good pitch. So 3rd strikeout for Archer.
Might as well get used to it. He's kind of establishing a pattern as he did with Vogt. 3-2 slider. Muncy, 3-2 slider, and really out of the strike zone. And you're hopeful to pick up the slider spin. And if you do, you recognize it, you won't swing at a pitch that really is out of the strike zone. It's surprising for Muncy because he waits very well.
So here's Perino. Fastball is low. Average fastball velocity just a shade under 95. That's in the top 5 in the American League. Throws his slider 37% of the time. 2nd highest total. So that's the slider we're talking about, and it's a strikeout slider. I mean, we've seen it already tonight a couple times. 43 of his 62 strikeouts are on the slider. So that's interesting stuff.
Well,
gives you a pretty good idea what you're going to see.
And especially to throw it the way he did. And the old saying goes, if the hitter just put his bat on his shoulder and didn't swing, he'd walk, because the 2 pitches that have struck out Vogt and Muncy, sliders out of the strike zone.
And I got to believe if you're a hitter, and it's a great pitch, so it may not even make a difference if you know it's coming. It's that good, but you got to figure if I'm behind in the count, 2 strikes, he's probably going to throw a slider.
That's right, exactly.
He didn't there. He threw a fastball, and it was just a bit outside.
Well, this is the pitching backward. 1-2, go hard. 3-2, 3-1, where hitters more fastball, go soft. And because they gear up a little bit more for the fastball. shook off fastball. He's going to go slider on 2-2.
And there it is, and he got him. So nasty pitch, 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Chris Archer. Bottom of the second coming up, no score. First of last year. Brandon Moss with a home run off Eric Bedard. What's the big deal? That was the A's only hit in the game, and they won the game 3-2. The other runs came on a throwing error by Sean Rodriguez. So 1 hit, and that's all the A's needed. That was May 21st of 2014. Moss now with the Indians.
So when Cole Calhoun hit one off of Jesse Chavez in Anaheim, the only hit they got was the home run.
That's right.
Out the air.
Always evens out.
It sure does.
Here's Joey Butler playing left field. Butler, rookie.
We got 2 Butlers in the lineup tonight.
Yes, we do. Butler, a couple of home runs. Hits that one right up the middle, and Joey Butler's got a base hit. Leadoff man aboard for the Rays. And that'll bring up James Loney.
Pretty good fastball just to do what he did. That's hit it right back up the middle. Over the mound, into center field.
So here's Loney. He was 1 for 4 in last night's game. That 1 hit extended his hitting streak to 8 games. So he's got 12 hits in his last 28 at-bats during that 8-game stretch. Bunch of games of interest tonight. Astros are in Detroit to open up a series against the Tigers. No score after 2 innings. It's McHugh for Houston and Simon for the Tigers. Actually, that's the second game of that series. Detroit won yesterday in extra innings, so that's game 2 of a 4-game set.
Yeah, they open on a day game.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, maybe it was Detroit Day, like Victoria Day. Now, a little bit different.
2-0 to Loney. And a good pitch on the outside corner. Angels are in Boston. Red Sox with a 1-0 lead in the 3rd inning. Garrett Richards for the Angels. Rick Porcello for the Red Sox.
Boy, Red Sox are struggling big time.
You know, I was reading about that today, and they're struggling to score runs, which is just not what you thought was going to happen. In fact, I saw a note there. Red Sox are 7-12 in the month of May, and in those 19 games, they're averaging 2.3 runs per game.
Hard to believe.
How does that happen with that lineup?
Yeah. Now, they were concerned about their pitchers, and of course traded for Porcello and made some moves to bolster the pitching staff.
Shot right field, base hit. Reddick on one bounce. So back-to-back singles to open up the second inning for the Rays.
Well, that's all about the count right there. Fastball count, 3-1, and James Loney, even with the lefty, got the fastball elevated by Scott Kazmir. And, well, when you can look fastball, you can expand your strike zone. And Loney is that type of hitter.
So here's Asdrubal Cabrera. He's the switch hitter, met from the right side. A couple more notes from that Angels-Red Sox series. Albert Pujols is back in the lineup tonight. Remember, a couple days ago, he got hit in the hand, and there was some concern, but he is okay. Sat out yesterday, back in the Angels lineup today. And the Red Sox trying to get that struggling offense going. They called up the Cuban Rusney Castillo, who they gave a lot of money to last year. He was in the minor leagues, and so he's making his major league debut tonight in right field. Rusney Castillo trying to help out the struggling offense. 0-1 to Asdrubal Cabrera. To Laurie. He's going to step on third. He's going to throw across, and that's a double play. 5-3 double play, 2 outs.
That's a smart play. That's a great play by Brett Laurie. Because you're able to get too close enough to the bag. He's playing in, cheating in for a possible bunt. Cabrera instead to third base. And he had in his mind to go to first. And that was a smart play because Loney was getting a pretty good lead off first. And quick peek at second. You see Loney in the top of your screen almost at second. And Sogard went over to cover, but instead to first base. Cabrera a slower the runner, and the fact that Loney was not being held at first, and that's a very good double play.
So here's Tim Beckham, second baseman. I'm seeing some few changes in the lineup tonight for the Rays. Beckham hitting .210 with 4 home runs, 15 RBIs. Loney, not a real fast runner at second base.
Now Brett Laurie, look, a couple, 2 or 3 steps, and then of course he knows he has a strong arm, and Cabrera hit her hard enough and a little slow getting out of the box, especially from the right side. From the left side might have been a different story. Might only got 1 second base, but instead gets 2.
Hey, if you can eliminate a throw, it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yankees and the Rangers are scoreless after 2 at Yankee Stadium, opening up a series there. Lewis and Pineda, the pitching matchup. Michael Pineda with a 5-1 record for the Yankees, but the Yankees not playing well. They've lost 7 out of 8. So the Rays have taken advantage of the Yankees' struggles and have grabbed first place. One pitch, good fastball.
You have to wonder about the hitters, and the fastball from Scott Kazmir. It just kind of explodes because it's a 4-seam. It's a straight fastball, but you see a lot of those swing and misses from hitters in a fastball count. He challenged it with a fastball and threw it by.
Kurt Young is back.
Had a great time in Scottsdale, his graduation of his daughter. Scott Emerson did a tremendous job. Didn't have to walk the mound once.
Foul territory and into the seats. In fact, Kurt, as we were walking in off the bus at about 4:15, Kurt was arriving at the same time. And Andy Perino he got here a little bit after that even. So.
On the weekend before, Mike Aldretti, his bench coach, his son graduated from Sonoma State, so he missed the Saturday game at Coliseum. So coaches young enough to throw batting practice and young enough to have kids still graduating from high school or college. The throwing BP is the most important thing.
Got to throw strikes.
Yeah, that's right. right over the top 4 seam.
2-2 to Beckham. And that one's right there. Strike 3 called. Beckham knew it. Third strikeout for Scott Kazmir. He gets out of the jam. So we're scoreless after 2 from St. Petersburg. Food available at Men's Warehouse. Third inning from Tropicana Field on a beautiful Friday evening. No score between the A's and the Rays.
You know, the excitement between innings, Kipe, is the fact that Stomper is here down on the dugouts with Raymond, and is the mascot of the Tampa Bay Rays.
So the name of the mascot is Raymond.
Evidently, is that right? It's Raymond. Thank you. Now, security guard, Raymond's a mascot too in Oakland.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Sam Fuld has got himself a base hit to center field to lead off the third. So Ron Washington is officially back at the Athletics, and he looks good in the green and gold. He was working hard today with Marcus Semien. They were out here very early. Mike Gallego out there.
Check out the glove that Semien's using. That's the specialty that Ron Washington uses. You talk about a pancake, and that forces you to use 2 hands. Ron has always used that. It's like the old-style catcher's mitt. And you have to use 2 hands, and that's why he used that glove, or that mitt. And I saw Washington. I said, "Oh, you brought it?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "I'll always have that with me." It's like Art Kushner has the old-style no-break catcher's mitt. It really forces catchers to catch with 2 hands, and that's why Wash, who was a catcher, by the way, when he first came up, and uses that style to teach infield.
So it's great to see Ron Washington back in the A's uniform. 11 seasons as a coach with the Athletics. And then, of course, the great job as the manager of the Rangers, winning 664 games. Thought his quote was interesting. He said, I really needed baseball. I was just hoping that baseball still needed me a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, it does give him an opportunity to get back in the game, and you never know. You don't want to stay out too long because people forget. And in the case of Wash, he left on the usual circumstances, but felt it was needed last year. He did, and he's back and is very happy to be doing what he's doing. Took a 6 o'clock flight this morning nonstop. Mickey was telling us yesterday. Only 2 nonstops out of New Orleans, 6 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and Wash was on the 6.
0-2 pitch. Burns a line shot into the glove of Longoria. He throws back to first, not in time. Longoria was playing in, and he was actually pretty close to the line, which is a bit of a surprise. And ball was hit right at him.
Well, especially with a couple of strikes taking the bunt. Although the scouting report, I'm sure it has shown that Billy Burns will bunt with 2 strikes, which he did and has done. But even with the bag, it is right to him. Good job of base running by Sam Full not to get too far off. It's a long walk from first base if you double off on a line drive.
So here's Sogard. Sogard takes changeup for a strike. So the A's have scored 7 runs in their last 4 games. So it leads you to believe that it try some things.
Yeah.
Struggling offense. See if Sam Full takes off. Pitch is high. So 1-1 the count. Reddick to follow. And there's the struggles. 2.9 runs per game in the last 15 games. So it's not just the last 4 games. It's actually been going on for a couple weeks. Sogard hits one in the air, very shallow. Butler hustling in, and Butler's there. So 2 away here in the top of the 3rd. And that'll bring up Reddick. Blue Jays leading the Mariners 1-0, top of the 4th in Toronto. Felix Hernandez pitching for Seattle. He's 6-1 against Estrada. So the Mariners, after losing 2 of 3 in Baltimore, now in Toronto for the weekend. So all the American League West teams on the East Coast.
And this weekend, nobody's in the Bay Area either.
That's right. Giants are in Colorado.
But yet, next week, guess what?
Does happen occasionally.
Well, you'd like to think if you're in the Bay Area, you watch baseball every day.
That's right. There should always be a ball game to go to when you have 2 teams in a market.
Like New York, Chicago, Oakland, San Francisco.
So 1-1 to Reddick, who struck out swinging in the 1st. You know what, though, Ray? We got great A's fans.
That's right.
And listen, they probably don't have a big desire to go see a Giants game, but you know what they will do? They'll go to Stockton, watch the single A team.
That's a good point.
It's a quick drive, right, from the East Bay.
That's right.
Check out the Future Athletics. Used to be able to shoot up to Sacramento. We can't do that anymore.
I was going to say maybe Ben Zober should be there. He's going to be supposed to be in Nashville to finish out. I think he was getting an off day either yesterday or today, and then finish up his rehab with Nashville AAA, then join the club Monday. Be ready to play in the Memorial Day special. Make sure you get out to get your road cap on Memorial Day. That'd be a quick turnaround for the A's to fly from St. Pete to Oakland and play Memorial Day. Here's your slider, 3-1 catch. So there you go with the pitching backwards, as they say.
And there it was, and it's a swing and a miss. So now 3-2. Sam Fuld, who has not attempted to go, he will go now.
Well, the 3-1 slider, the old saying, 3-1, you get a 3-2, and just watch the catcher Rivera if he gets the 3 sign. We get a chance to look at it. We did not, so we'll have to just guess along with Josh Reddick. There it was.
He did, and it was down and in. So Reddick takes it.
And you know, there's your pattern, and that's where catcher, pitcher, and especially catcher, you remember how you got to hit her out. And if you establish that pattern of calling, in this case, a slider, when it's a hitter's count, which means 3-1, 3-2, 2-0. That's more of a fastball count. But you start throwing sliders, hitters will start laying off. The A's have done that. Unfortunately, it's 2 outs. And they have to have a 2-out rally.
Billy Butler had a base hit in the 1st inning. He's had a couple of base runners in the 1st. They were retired in order in the 2nd. A couple of base runners here in the 3rd. They have not had a lot of big hits lately. That's been the problem. So far this year, Billy Butler, 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Pretty good, 304 the average. Good take there. 1-1 the count.
So Rivera is wearing the socks of his pitcher. So the battery is the same socks. So you got first, third, center, pitcher, catcher.
I like it. Yeah. Billy Butler hits one high, foul territory. Loney is not going to have enough room. 4 rows back. Quite a bit of foul territory here at Tropicana Field. Not anything like the Coliseum, of course, but nothing is. But that's quite a bit of foul territory when you compare it to most of the other ballparks.
Meanwhile, in Oakland, the A's are in the field. That's the third out of the inning. So Billy Butler gets another opportunity and see if he can take advantage of what he might get. Now, if a pitcher's pitching backward, then there should be a fastball count, 1-2. And the way he's pointing inside, it may be a fastball in. Just watch the catcher. He'll tell you what he's going to do. No, away. Slider.
And it was a good one. And Butler strikes out. So 5 strikeouts for Archer. And the A's strand 2 more. Bottom of the third coming up. It'll be Rivera, Geyer, and Sousa. No score. That's Scott Kazmir against the A's in Oakland, and he picked up his 50th career win. 6 innings, just a couple of hits, couple of strikeouts. And that was April 24th of 2009. Kazmir was here with the Rays. He now has 93 career wins, so he should get to 100 this year.
I think 55 he got with the Rays when he's pitching with them, although they at one time were called the Devil Rays. Now, that thing that's floating around out in right center field, is that called a Ray or a Devil Ray? It's a Ray.
Just a Ray.
Just a Ray. Maybe that's why they changed it.
Be careful.
From Ray to Raymond.
Be careful out there.
Well, people are petting it, so it must be tame. You guess?
Line drive by Rivera. Fair. Bounces off that side wall toward the left field corner. Fold with a great throw to second base. Tag! And they got him. Sam Fold hustling over. He knew he had a slow runner, and he made a great play and a great throw. And Rene Rivera, who's coming off slowly, is thrown out.
Well, he was jogging around first. I don't know if he thought it was just an easy double or the fact he doesn't run well, but you're right. Sam Fold played it perfectly. An accurate throw to second base. And Eric Sogard taking the brunt of the hard slide by Rivera, going in with the right foot and the right leg. But Sogard put his face right in the middle of it after catching it, went right to the bag, and then blocked him with his body. That's a big out.
Yep. Brandon Geyer hits one up the middle for a base hit. So Rivera will get credit for a hit.
The tap. Watch Sogard just put his body, got him on the right foot, and then blocked him off with his body. His momentum carrying him in, and Big Joe West wanted to make sure that Sogard had the ball in his glove. Rivera was more concerned about Sogard, which is nice on his part, as he was out easily. But Sam Fuld played it perfectly, carry him off the wall. I'm sure he's familiar with this park where he played for several years. That's big because he gets in safely at second or first, and guy with the base hit up the middle.
So here's Souza. Souza struck out swinging in the first.
The old spin and turn, and remember we talk about Ricky Henderson, the great years he had playing left field because he's a left-handed fielder. That means for Sam Fuld the same way, glove on his right hand, being a lefty, catching, spinning, throwing, and eliminating in a few steps to be able to make the play.
And he got a nice kick off that angle sidewall out there. If you think about the way that sidewall is angled, the ball is going to kick toward him. It's not going to roll down into the corner. So that helped him. There's a strike at the knees, and it's 1-2.
Remember, Kike, the first game on this trip, Towles Hill in center field, Sam was playing center. He worked on playing at Towles Hill, and I'm sure even though he's played here before, he was working on the caroms in the outfield here, and that's what good outfielders will do.
1-2 pitch, quick throw to first, and just getting back. And he's Brandon Geyer.
Well, that's because the speed of Geyer last night stole 2 bases, ended up scoring the 3rd run when Wilson hit the ball up the middle and broke the thumb of Mujica. Rocco Baldelli, how about that?
That's right.
Staff of the Tampa Bay Rays. He and Cash played together.
Geyer with a big lead. Close pitch, Souza lays off. Rocco Baldelli's career got cut short by injuries. He was fun to watch.
Looks the same. But you're right. It seemed like every year he was hurt.
He was fast.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He could really run.
That's why he's got to like Geyer, who's at first, because he has the speed that he had with Baldelli as a player.
Geyer's got a huge lead. He goes, but a real late jump, and Souza, it was a walk. And Stephen Vogt is arguing with David Rackley, and I think that was a good pitch. I think Vogt thought it was strike 3, and it wasn't called. And now the dugout's on Rackley.
Wow. Well, Stephen Vogt hesitated, and then for him to make the throw and then to immediately react, and here's the 3-2. Oh, my. Oh, wow. That was right down the middle. Right down the middle. You got to be kidding me.
So you not only do you have the missed call, but
wow. Unbelievable.
So the batter falling in front of Stephen Vogt, but I guess that doesn't matter if it's called the ball 4.
But this is why Stephen Vogt's so angry. Look at this pitch. That is right down the middle. It fooled Geyer again. Remember, or Souza. But Souza knows or thinks it's a ball, so that's why he's going to first, or at least he's trying to fake it. You got to be kidding me. Well, I hope they're grading the umpires. I mean, they're supposed to be grading them on strike and ball calls. And if he doesn't get a huge negative on that pitch, something's wrong with the system.
Well, the problem is should have been a double play.
Well, it should have been back to the dugout.
Would have been a strikeout, throw him out, double play, end of the inning. Instead, it's first and second, 1 out. That is a huge call. And it goes against the Athletics. And here's Longoria. Pick off into center field. And the runner at second base, Geyer, stayed down. And Souza, the runner at first, went about halfway to second. Then he realized that Geyer was not going to go.
Well, this is a pre-planned play. Remember, we saw it earlier with Kazmir and Sogard, and they picked off a runner at second. And it's a plan or a play that they have where it's a count system. But you've got one of the best hitters in the game that you put a runner on instead of a double play back in the dugout. Now you have first and second, one out with Longoria.
Yep. And for a team that's struggling to score runs like the A's, it's a huge turn. First pitch to Longoria. He checks his swing, and it was a cross-up. The pitch came way inside, and
that's the pitch that was non-strike, and that's why Vogt.
See, Vogt said it's right down the middle. That's a bad call. Wow. At a bad time in the game.
And then first pitch is a cross-up.
So 0-1 to Longoria. Changeup stays high, 1-1. Longoria walked in the first inning. Geyer at second, Souza at first. And that one past Vogt. And that looked like a cross-up.
Yeah.
Now the cross-up thing has just been happening too much this year with the Athletics, and hard to figure out.
Well, he's down. It's going to be a pass ball, but he's thinking it's down, and all of a sudden it's up, and he barely gets a glove on it. Otherwise, it's going to hit him directly in the mask.
So now it's second and third. Infield comes in. 2-1 pitch is a strike, down and away.
That's worse.
That was not a great call, but the A's will take it.
The problem with the pass ball cross up, that takes the double play possibility away. Infield has to come in.
Bounce to third. A's got to play at the plate, and Geyer's tagged out. So Laurie playing in a step or two. Throws out Geyer at the plate for the second out.
Well, ground ball, infield in. You're hoping that that's exactly what happens. That's a ground ball to one of the fielders. 3-1, right to Laurie, and of course the runner going on contact and out easily. Now that play right there, I guarantee you that Geyer had no clue that he could actually run into Stephen Vogt. Watch how he stops. And with this new rule, I don't think runners really know that if a catcher has the ball and he's in the front of the plate, he's open target. But you'll see guys just stop.
So here's Forsythe. You know what, Ray? I don't think they want to.
You know you're right.
I don't think they do.
No, they don't. They really don't.
That's not a criticism. No. I just don't think that.
No, you're exactly right.
All the stuff that's happened, I just don't think they want to even be involved in anything about that.
Except that in Oakland, Reddick on that against Houston on the Friday night, he did not realize that when a catcher had the ball that he could.
Runner goes, throw to second. Or both runners go, I should say. Double steal. Sousa steals third. Longoria steals second. It was not a great pitch for Vogt to throw on. But a double steal.
Well, look at the lead that Longoria has. He's waiting to see what the runner going to third is going to do. And Sousa, who gets there easily. And it's almost from the standpoint of Vogt, not even a throw. Take the chance of throwing to center field. He's got no chance to throw out even the trailing runner.
2-0 to Forsythe. And now 3-0. Well, the Rays had 3 steals last night. They get 2 right there, so 5 steals in the series. The 3-0 pitch is a fastball right there, first strike. Forsythe was retired on a nice play by Sogard to end the first inning. Down and in, and it's a walk, so the bases are loaded with 2 outs. So 3 walks and 3 strikeouts so far for Kazmir, and he's thrown a lot of pitches, 58.
Well, just think if Rivera had not been thrown out at second by Fold, and if the runner had not been thrown out of plate on a ground ball by Longoria. mean, the A's really have had 2 outs on the bases. They have not recorded an actual out, so hopefully they can do that now with the bases loaded.
So here's Butler. Butler singled up the middle in the 2nd inning. Big swing and a miss.
The difference there, Cap, is the fact that pitch was elevated a little bit, which helped Kazmir. It was the low fastball that Butler hit.
That one passed him 95 miles an hour. Butler was late.
Those challenging fastballs. This is kind of the Kazmir of old. Rear back and throw hard and just blow it by them, and that's a flat-footed swing. Very hard as a hitter to try to catch up that kind of fastball with no stride.
0-2 pitch and 3 fastballs, and Butler missed them all. So Kazmir, when it's all said and done, gets out of it. He's going to go chat with home plate umpire, and I don't blame him.
Sports fields for the 2015 baseball and softball season. Fields at Hayward High School and San Leandro Little League Complex were refurbished as part of the Energize Your Field program presented by PG&E. To nominate your field to be refurbished, go to athletics.com/energize your field. Energize your field with the A's, the Good Tidings Foundation, and PG&E. Sorry. There's the conversation. Scott Kazmir, I guess, wondering with David Rackley, I guess is his name. Wow.
So Vogt to lead it off. Vogt, Laurie, and Muncy here in the 4th inning. No score.
I can't wait to talk to Scott Kazmir to find out what he was talking about.
Well, I hope he said, you know what, I missed it because it was a strike. But I don't know that that's what happened.
And I hope there's not a close pitch to Stephen Vogt, because Stephen's a mild-mannered guy. But he may just have had enough, because he almost, after he threw to second, got back in the face of Rackley and stayed in the game.
Vogt with a shot to right. And that baby's gone. Vogt homers, and the A's have a 1-0 lead. See, you just don't let Stephen Vogt, don't make him mad.
That's right. Don't make him mad. Number 10, so double figures for the A's catcher on the 22nd of May, game number 44, and Stephen Vogt has hit 10 and jumped on a 2-0 fastball, and that's what you call loading up, Kipe, and that's what you should see more of hitters do, that instead of trying to be passive a little bit. I mean, think of Jose Bautista and Donaldson, some of the guys, of course, of Blue Jays, but they look for it, they load up, and they let it go. And that was a nice swing by Stephen Vogt. Fortunately, he stayed in the game, wasn't ejected. Thought it was interesting, too, that it was mentioned that Stephen Vogt last night got his first hit ever at Tropicana Field.
Right.
He never did get one here when he played for the Rays. He was 0 for 14. Remember, he came to the A's and ended up being, I think, 0 for 33 before he finally got his first hit, which was a home run.
High slider. Laurie misses it, and the count is 1-2. Fourth home run of the year that Archer has allowed in 57 innings.
Well, that was a nice swing on a fastball, provided the power was this right-hander.
So Laurie chases that slider. Sixth strikeout for Archer.
Stephen Vogt looking fastball, got it and didn't miss it. Nice, easy swing. I think he just can't wait for the 28th when his referee bobblehead comes out. So he's going to have some great numbers when that does come out against the Yankees next week. Great swing.
Here's Muncy. Fastball high. Muncy struck out swinging in the second inning. Interesting. A couple home runs allowed in his very first start this year. Not much since for Chris Archer. He only allowed 12 in 194 innings last year. That's a very low number. 2-0 pitch. Took a little off. Eased it in there for a strike. And that one missed somewhere. 2-2. Make it 3-1.
You know, I think if we had the angles that we normally have with the center field camera, you can say, well, you know, maybe it's not a good pitch, but this is straight on. And you're seeing it as the umpire, the pitcher, and the hitter. Everybody's seeing it. Straight on over the top of the mound.
So full count.
Really have no idea the strike zone of this umpire.
So what does Archer throw on 3-2? A slider, and Muncy takes it.
He threw it to him last at bat, struck him out. Same pitch, swung and missed.
Second strikeout, or second walk, excuse me, for Archer. He's got 6 strikeouts.
Jim Hickey, pitching coach. Coach Kevin Cash, the manager. And Tom Foley, his bench coach, and asked Kevin about Tom Foley, and he said, I just want to have a veteran coach, knowing that David Martinez, who was a bench coach for Joe Madden, was going to go with him to Chicago, which he did. And he took Foley off the third base coaching box and put him on the bench with him.
So 0-1 to Andy Perino. Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop, playing right behind second base for Perino. So even a slight shift for Andy Perino. What's the world coming to, huh?
You almost
spray hitter.
You almost want to just call timeout and take a picture of it. Say, geez, first time this has happened.
1-2 now. Perino just called up, giving Marcus Semien a night off.
One thing Perino can do is play defense. And he's been known to be an outstanding glove man at shortstop, the magician, as they called him. And just trying to get some hits.
1-2 pitch. There's that slider, and Perino missed it. So he strikes out for the second time. It really is a very late breaking slider.
But, you know, we've talked about the spin, and I guess if you could slow that down, you could see the slider spin, and it's a true slider from him, so you might see the dot, but you're also going to see the rotation of the seams and know that it is a breaking ball, a slider that's going to be breaking, and that's basically one of his better pitches. So essentially the fastball, occasional changeup, but mostly fastball sliders.
2 away. Here's Fold. The Rangers scored 7 runs in the third inning at Yankee Stadium. Prince Fielder with a 3-run homer. He's playing great. So the Rangers 7, the Yankees nothing in the bottom of the 4th inning. Mariners leading the Blue Jays 3-1 in the bottom of the 5th in Toronto. Tigers 3, Astros 2, top of the 5th in Detroit. And the Angels leading the Red Sox 2-1 in the 4th. High fastball, and Sam Fuld chased a tough pitch to get any wood on there. 96 miles an hour from Archer.
And especially up in that high zone, out of the strike zone, but thrown very hard.
Muncy, very short lead at first. 1-2 pitch. There's the slider, and Fuld lays off. It's really almost like Gray, like he wants to strike you out with a breaking pitch.
And a bad one.
In one low, down, almost in the dirt.
Yeah, he doesn't want to throw for a strike. It's a chase slider. And he's able to throw it, especially when he's got a couple of pitches to play with. He's going to throw it again on this one, 2-2.
And that one right there, Fuld could not pull the trigger. So 3 strikeouts in inning for Archer, 8 in the game, but Stephen Vogt with home run number 10. So the A's have a 1-0 lead after 3.5. California is brought to you by Kelly Moore Paints, the Painter's Paint Store. Beautiful night in St. Petersburg. If you like hot and humid weather, this is the place to be. 1-0 the A's lead on the home run by Stephen Vogt, his 10th of the year. So Kazmir he's got 1 run to work with. He'll face Loney, Cabrera, and Beckham.
The umpire Rackley's got his mask off. You can see his hands kind of motioning almost like he's pleading with Stephen Vogt. And in between innings, the manager was talking to the home plate umpire, and maybe he's got a guilt trip or something. He's talking to Stephen.
First pitch to Loney is low. Loney had a base hit in the 2nd inning. So that extended his hitting streak to 9 games. So 2-0 out of Loney. Just a slightly open stance for Loney, but crowds the plate a little bit. Right on the outside corner with a fastball, so the count even now at 2-2. Rays have stranded 5 through the first 3 innings. A little flare, but Perino's there, a couple steps out the outfield grass. So 1 away. So homecoming for Scott Kazmir. There he is as a member of the then Devil Rays. Won 55 games. It's third most in Rays history. But it was a big trade. He was acquired from the Mets. Victor Zambrano is the guy that the Mets wanted. They were in a pennant race. Zambrano, not a bad starting pitcher, but as soon as he got to New York, he had arm trouble. And Kazmir was a first-round draft pick of the Mets, very high pick. So I remember that being a controversial trade at the time. Kazmir was a very hot prospect.
And it never fails, and we've talked about it many times. And championship, the American League Championship for the Rays came out of nowhere. Went to the World Series against the Phillies. Unfortunately lost. But you make those trades, and if you have the chips that you can trade and get young players that you scout and think they're going to be good. In the case of Kazmir, he was.
Kazmir made 2 starts in the 2008 World Series against the Phillies. His best year, though, here with the Rays was 2007. He was 13-9 with a 3.48 ERA. But how about this rate? 239 strikeouts in 206 innings. That's when he was at his best.
That's right.
Because he was throwing 97, 98 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was, I'm going to throw a fastball, so get ready for it. Here it comes. And he was able to do it. It's almost like a relief pitcher coming in and airing it out.
Right to Sogard. So 2 out. So he had a stretch where he was nasty.
For the base hit.
Then he had a pretty good year in 2008. But then in 2009, Ray, his ERA was 5.92, and that's when the trouble really started for him. He got traded to the Angels, and it just could never figure it out with the Angels. It started a interesting path back to the big leagues. And now he's turned it around.
Well, they put the Sugarland Skeeters on the mat. The independent team outside of Houston, of course, team that the independent baseball is really become very, very good around America, where players feel they still have something left. In the case of Kazmir, trying to reinvent himself, and he's able to do it. Got a very, very nice contract from the A's. Matter of fact, Kevin Cash was in the bullpen of the Indians when he pitched there.
That's right, yeah.
He pitched there. We're seeing him there. Pitched very well against the A's. Cash was the bullpen coach. There is the first-year manager of the Rays. Don Wakamatsu interviewed. Actually was down to Cash and Wakamatsu. Raul Ibanez was also in the mix, but he backed out at the end for family reasons. He had young kids, but Ibanez just left the field and almost became manager. Wakamatsu back with the Royals as a bench coach.
Well, I also saw where Cash was actually a catcher for the Rays.
Yeah.
In 2005 when Kazmir just got to the big leagues. So he saw him as a youngster, and then he saw him after his comeback with the Indians. That one's hit to center. Burns back. Still going back. Near the wall. He can't get it. Ball rolls around near the wall. Beckham round second. Beckham trying for third. The throw is not in time. A long triple for Tim Beckham.
Yeah, Billy Burns got turned around and was going at him, and I don't know if it knuckled on him, but straight away center field, and watch his route there, and then it takes off on him as he reached for it, went to the ground, had it, and then see right there he had to change direction, just could not get it. Put the edge of his glove on the ball, but they wanted a high fastball. 0-2, they got it. And Beckham watching as he approached first base, and then made it a close play at third because he was watching too much as he headed to first.
So here's Rene Rivera up and away.
Well, Rivera hit a hanging slider in his first at bat. That's when Fold threw him out. A hanging slider that he hit down the left field line.
Outside, now 2-0. Rivera did not play last night. He's just 4 for 31 this year against left-handed pitching. He's really struggling offensively.
Yeah, it's a close play. And
see, the glove hit the back foot of Beckham on the head first slide, and that made it a very close play.
right there, yeah. Did have his right hand on it. Tagged him initially, did Lowry, and then tagged him again.
2-1 pitch hit in the air toward Burns. This should get Kazmir out of the inning, and it does. So Beckham's triple is stranded. We're headed to the 5th inning. It's the A's 1 and the Rays nothing.
In the house in the Bay Area in Florida. We'll tell you that you can purchase a group of 25 or more. I'm sure Stomper's doing that down here. It's in the field level and select games, and everyone in your group will receive an A's replica batting practice pullover. For more information on available games or to book your group Jersey Day outing, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/jersey. He is in the house.
Yes, he is. Top of the 5th inning, the A's with a 1-0 lead. It was a solo home run by Stephen Vogt in the 4th inning, the only run in the game so far. So Burns, Sogard, and Reddick against Chris Archer. Archer has 8 strikeouts in the first 4 innings. Remember, coming into tonight's start, 2nd most strikeouts in the American League. He's a strikeout guy.
The furniture store has always sponsored the K's. That's why they show them in center field. And there they are. They've got 8. We'll have to wait and see if it gets 10. Or I guess it's a team thing, right? So
I think it's a team thing.
I don't have to.
2-2 now to Burns, who has grounded to short and lined to third.
Some places give away pizza, and I know that makes you happy.
Yeah. We can actually get it up here to the booth.
I was waiting for a big pizza with your birthday in Houston on Wednesday.
Yeah, they did not take care of us in Houston. So 2 strikes. Burns thought about bunting, but the pitch was in the dirt. So 3-2.
Now, Delaire has been saying we got the Minute Maid juice in Houston. We've got Tropicana here. We got a lot of orange juice on this week. So I agree with you there. I have not had any orange juice on this trip. Have you had it?
I have not, no. But you think we should?
I think we should, just to see what it's like.
Delaire, our fine producer down in the TV truck, working with Tom Edson, Josh Hood.
So Tropicana Pure Premium. We had Johnny, was it Johnny Dynamite or what's his name? Bobby Dynamite? Bobby Dynamite. Up in the train track with the truck full of oranges.
Oh, Speedy Burns is aboard. So some of the young pitching stars, Gray, Archer, Hernandez, 20 starts with 1 earned run or fewer since the start of last season. Wow, that is pretty good.
That is very good. It's amazing. King Felix has been around so long, you don't even consider him in this category.
Burns runs, throw to second base is not in time. Burns with a stolen base. Very close. But Burns got in.
He did not waste any time, went on the first move, the first pitch, and did not look back. Head first slide. Sogard taking it all the way. And a one hop by Rivera handled nicely at second, but the ball bounced, and second baseman Beckham had to reach up, grab it, and then make the tag. Thought he had tagged him out.
So Sogard will try to get him over. 5th stolen base for Burns, so it certainly has the feel of a game where there's not going to be a lot of runs scored.
Yeah.
Sogard has a single and a fly ball to left field. Rolls over on that one, dribbles it foul. Reddick will be next, and then Butler. So a great opportunity for the A's to add to their 1-0 lead. Archer, long look. Burns was thinking about taking off, and he took about 3 steps toward third.
You know, I think the stealing of third is harder because the inside move. And shortstop, Cabrera in behind him. Have to be assured the pitcher's going to the plate, so it's not going to allow you to get a very good lead or jump off second.
Popped up. So Sogard's not going to be real happy with this at bat. Cabrera has it, 1 out.
Stayed away and could not get the top hand and could not hit it on a line drive. A base hit to left field would accomplish the same thing.
Don't you think too, Ray, when you're struggling as a team, and we know that the A's are, it's almost like you strip it down and you just should just try to play the most basic fundamental baseball that you can.
That's right.
And then build on that.
Right. I'll even to the point of Sogard is such a great bunter to either drag the ball.
Just
to make sure
do something positive.
Drag the ball to the right side, even the third base, but tried to pull the outside pitch and got under it. And that's the difference of the location. If the pitch is up and outside, you try to pull it, you're usually going to get under it and hit the pop up, as Sogi did.
0-1 to Reddick, who has struck out and walked. Cabrera playing right behind Burns at second base, so tough for Burns to get a real big lead or even really think about trying to steal third. He's sitting right behind him. Pitch number 91, so a lot of pitches for Archer. Remember last night, the Rays had to go to their bullpen after 5 innings, and they got 4 great innings out of their bullpen, but bullpen has worked a lot this year. They've been good, but they've worked a lot. Reddick, good swing and a fastball away.
Well, last night in the first inning, and of course it's one that ended up saying that he felt he left too soon. This is how it happened in real time. Simeon, fly ball to center field, deep enough as Kiermaier got under it, and you can see the box. And at that point, he thought he left too soon. I don't think he did. I mean, we looked at it. Simeon couldn't believe it, but he could have walked home. And Kiermaier was just basically going to throw the ball as a courtesy, but
Archer has it. He'll flip to first. So that's the second out. Now Burns at third. And we certainly discussed it a lot. And then Burns said, hey, I made a mistake. But we were curious about why he didn't go. Now we know. He said he thought he left early.
And really, in the case,
it was a mistake. Yeah. I mean, there's no.
He admitted it. Yeah. But it's a play that really, as long as it's deep enough, there's nothing a third base coach can do. He can't tell you to go. You watch the ball in flight. You watch the outfielder catch the ball, and with his speed, more than enough time.
So here's Butler. He's need a 2-out hit to get Burns home. And there's a shot right at the right fielder. Butler hit it right on the nose. Sousa grabs it, and the A's do not score. So 1-0 Athletics as we head to the bottom of the fifth.
Far, Scott Kazmir pitching well. Good strikeouts as he has just thrown a good fastball after fastball. Hitters taking. Archer, good fastball. He has struck out a bunch himself. Stephen Vogt, a strikeout on the slider. Stephen Vogt will do something better a little bit later. Another slider. And how about this 2-0 fastball? Stephen Vogt crushed it. Number 10 for him. And folks, that is the only run in the game as we're in the bottom of the fifth inning. Somebody took a tumble. Stephen Vogt took the tunnel. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world.
Top of the order, Brandon Guyer. First pitch swinging again, and he hits a hard ground ball into left field. Guyer swung at the first pitch in the third and had a base hit. Does the same thing here in the fifth. So leadoff man aboard, Kazmir back into the stretch.
And that's after he half swung at a changeup 3-2 his first at bat. And of course, always a threat to steal.
So here's Steven Souza. Strikeout and a walk. He has 5 strikeouts and a walk in this series, and he bunts. Kazmir picks it up, flips it, and Muncy dropped it. And the ball rolls away, and that's going to allow Guyer to go to third. So nothing more than just a bunt. And the A's could not execute defensively, and now it's first and third and nobody out.
Sacrifice somebody, and this is where, as a first baseman, you have to trust your pitcher to get to the ball. He was there. Then hurriedly getting back was Muncy. A flip, and runner arrived at the same time. And so the sacrifice E3. And that is simply Muncy really trying to catch the ball and tag Sousa as he came down the line. Instead, it's going to be that unfamiliar error.
So here's Longoria. Trouble for Kazmir here in the fifth. And Sousa, who's a big guy, but he's a good base stealer. He's got 6 steals this year, so you got to watch that, Ray. And he's got a big lead. Well, look at where he is. Huge lead inside the Longoria. Rays have 5 stolen bases in this series already. Longoria shoots one foul. Angels leading the Red Sox 5-3, top of the 5th at Fenway. Tigers leading the Astros 3-2, top of the 6th in Detroit. Longoria gets jammed, rolls into the backstop. Mariners behind Felix Hernandez, leading the Blue Jays 4-1 in the top of the 7th inning. And the Rangers leading the Yankees 7-4 now in the 6th inning. Rangers had a 7-0 lead in that game. Longoria blasts one to left. Full going back. He's near the wall. Gone. 3-run homer, Evan Longoria. And the Rays lead 3-1.
You can watch Stephen Vogt call a changeup. He shook off, fastball inside. Look at the location of the pitch. That is a right down the middle, hittable fastball. And one thing Bob Melvin said in the Wednesday game, that Jesse Hahn gave up the 2-run home run to Evan Gattis. Tried to pitch inside, made the mistake, hit a 2-run home run. If you don't pitch inside far enough to avoid that, that's usually what's going to happen, because it's a mistake. It's a 2-strike mistake, and it's a 3-run home run. And that is very few pitches for 3 runs to occur.
So here's Logan Forsythe, who puts a bouncer toward Laurie, and that's out number 1. So just like that, the Rays have the lead 3-1. 6th home run that Kazmir has allowed this year in 54 innings.
Well, that's really what happens. You don't get an out on a sacrifice.
Changes everything.
I mean, maybe you could pitch carefully to Longoria. Who knows?
Yeah, if you execute defensively the sacrifice, the Rays have a runner at second, 1 out, and yeah, you're right. You stay off the plate to Longoria, right. And if you walk him, you walk him.
Set up a double play.
Because I think when you look at this lineup, well, I don't think I know. I mean, Longoria is head and shoulders above the rest of the lineup as far as being a threat. More action for Laurie. He grabs it, throws across, and Joey Butler's out. So 2 outs.
And usually with Longoria, when you make a mistake, even with 2 strikes, and kind of an unusual setup with the open stance and it closes, but he generates a lot of power. And he showed it on a mistake fastball. Bob Melvin knows, as a former catcher and a very good manager, and that is, if you pitch inside, Dallas Keuchel was proof on Wednesday. You pitch inside for effect.
Yeah, that's true.
And you use the outside part of the plate after that.
There's just not a lot of strikes called on the inside corner, because I think it's a hard pitch for a pitcher to paint the inside corner.
Right, exactly. And in a case of a good left-handed pitcher who has a natural and a very good changeup, in the case of Kazmir, it was a 1-2 fastball that tried to get inside, but if he misses, then he has the option going fastball away, changeup away, if he wants to try to get him out, or first base is open, he can do whatever.
Muncy gets a nice hop. He'll step on the bag. Loney is retired, but damage done. Evan Longoria, his 5th home run of the year, was a 3-run shot. So a 3-1 Rays after 5. The Golden State Warriors now have a 2-0 advantage in the Western Conference Finals. And Saturday, it's Game 3 in Houston. For complete Warriors playoff coverage, tune into Comcast Sportsnet Playoff Central an hour before every game, post-game, and on Sportsnet Central. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5 p.m. Join Roz, Monty, Ratto, Papa, St., J.B., Feldy, and Fareed with the coverage that you expect from the authentic home of the Warriors. So, tomorrow night, Game 3. Thriller last night at Oracle.
Yeah.
Warriors hang on.
I like this first name basis you're on with all the guys back in the studio.
Well,
that's pretty good.
We go way back.
Yeah, it's impressive.
JB, Jim Barnett.
That's right.
The great Jim Barnett.
Oh, he's the best. I mean, he's probably up. Well, he's happy the Warriors are playing so well, but he usually comes up in the booth by now. That he, comes to visit us over and watch some baseball.
He better come up soon.
Yeah.
I know he's got other things on his mind.
Well, that's the most important. The Warriors.
Cute toward Longoria. His throw to first is offline, and Vogt has a hit.
God, Steven, use those wheels, man. Right. Just never give up on the speed. That's hit a home run, a bullet, and then a cue shot, and beats out an infield hit.
So Longoria, who is,
what's this? Cue shot, and then run. Oh, get it going. Oh, and you smell a hit. You're over 300. Those things happen. You don't like his running form?
I love it.
It's beautiful. That's a catcher's running form there, man. I mean, you get him going, he can't stop him.
In the hole, Cabrera, nice play, throw on the run, not in time. Laurie hustling, so back-to-back infield hits. So 2 on and nobody out, and Chris Archer in the middle of a possible shutdown inning. Been good at it this year, but he's got 2 on and nobody out.
Well, that arm strength of Cabrera just not there, and that's why Jim Hickey's going to visit with his young pitcher and probably explain to him, you gave up a bullet for a home run, now a couple of infield hits. So Jim Hickey, one of the returning coaches and a very good pitching coach, keeps his hands to himself as he's talking.
So Brandon Gomes gets up. 98 pitches for Archer, so Ray's bullpen will have to do a lot of work again tonight. The pitch count high for Archer this year is 110. So here's Muncy. First pitch is outside, but he's really got to capitalize here. They've had some opportunities. Stranded 6 through the first 5 innings.
Well, Muncy's been put in situations where a good at bat is needed, and here's one that a good one is needed.
Slider catches the outside corner, first strike. Muncy tonight has struck out and he has walked. Vogt and Laurie are your base runners. Swing and a miss. Stayed right with that slider. It really does break late, and it breaks down.
Well, that's one. He struck him out on the first at bat, took it the second time for a walk, and gets it earlier in the count this time. Now, left-handed batter. Catcher Rivera can't really see the first baseman Loney. Loney's playing deep, and Brett Laurie can get a few more steps at first if he wants to, especially if the ground ball is hit.
Muncy just got a piece of it, rolls behind the catcher Rivera. Your on-deck hitter Andy Perino. Your infield setup. Outfield fairly straight away. Muncy hits one in the air. Going back is Butler. Vogt tagging up, and Vogt bluffs, but he's going to stay at second base. So Butler went back, had plenty of room to make the catch, so Muncy is retired.
Well, productive outs, and we've talked about it so often. And Chris Sogard very upset with himself from last inning after a runner at second could not pull the ball. And now Muncy just looking for something to advance both runners and hit the ball in the air to the opposite field. Marcus Semien, you see, getting a bat for Andy Perino.
So Semien, well, he got 5 innings off, right?
Sure. That's all he needed. A little rest.
But at this point, with the A's struggling so much to score runs, you got to get something out of this inning.
Well, at least make an attempt, and that's what Bob Melvin is doing by pinch hitting Semien. As Perino got the start, struck out twice.
So Semien steps in. Good numbers, 302. He's got 51 hits on the year. The A's need one here. Fold is the on-deck hitter. Slider is low.
And this is why it's important as a player who does not start a game. You're on the bench, you pay attention, because in the case of the A's, you figure you might not start, but he'll eventually get in the game, and that's what's happened with Semien tonight.
And he did not go, so the count 2-0.
Which means he's able to watch what Archer is doing with the slider, and he's laid off 2 very good sliders. And watch his bat. This is something that Semien does so well. Kind of drags the bat and keeps it back, even though the body goes forward. The right hand, or the top hand of the bat, keeps it from going forward for check swing.
2-0 pitch is low, 3-0. The 4 players that have more hits than Semien in the American League are Fielder, Kipnis, Cruz, and Altuve. That's not bad.
No. Now that man would like to see this inning continue as Sam Fold.
And the 3-0 pitch is outside, so Semien as a pinch hitter.
He had the green light.
He did.
He was ready to swing, and that is it.
So the bases are loaded, 1 out. Sam Fold is your hitter, and at 107 pitches, Archer is done for the night. So Gomes coming in when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
May 28th through Sunday, May the 31st. Great seats are still available, but don't wait. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. Marcus Semien's a 4-pitch walk, and third for the night is Chris Archer.
So he's going to watch. The bases are loaded, 1 out. Brandon Gomes comes in.
Darren Bushier's hitting coach talking to Sam Fuld about Gomes, and the one thing he said, make him get it up, and that's the splitter. What's wrong with that slider? Wow. This strikes on this.
With the bases loaded, Gomes is thinking, wait a minute, I got to have that pitch.
Yeah.
So, good numbers out of the bullpen for Brandon Gomes. 14th appearance, 1.93 ERA. And that one is a strike on the outside corner. So Vogt's at third, Laurie's at second, Simeon is at first. That's Xavier Cedeno, one of the two lefties out in the Rays bullpen. A couple of singles and a walk. Have the bases loaded for the A's. And Fuld. It's in high and foul into the second level. So now Sam behind in the count 1-2. He has singled, and he has been called out on strikes.
Sam waits so well. He has a slight open stance, then closes it, which means that a lot of times he'll hit the ball in the opposite field. There's a split finger fastball grip that Gomes is putting his fingers in, and there's your gaps in the outfield, straight up in the outfield. And there's always concern about throwing a splitter with the bases loaded, because if you bounce it, you're depending on a catcher to block it. Maybe that's what Rivera is telling him. If you've got the splitter, you want to use it, I'll block it.
Yeah, right. I'll try to block it. I'll do my best.
That's right. And that's the splitter grip right there. And if he keeps it that way, he'll throw a splitter. If not, he'll change it in his glove. Great shot, Tommy.
And a swing and a miss. He got him swinging
through the splitter. Maybe that's exactly what Rivera was telling him, because he threw it, and Darren Bush said, make him get it up. Well, this is a pitch to make him get it up, and that's a ball when it left his hand, and it just kept going, and Rivera able to block it and actually caught it on the split.
So here's Burns. He'll try to come through. Burns has grounded out, lined out, walked and stole the base in the fifth. First pitch is in the dirt. Rivera grabs it. And Gomes, that wide open stance, which we usually say that about a hitter, but that's how he gets started in the stretch. 1-0 pitch to Burns, slider, and now it's 2-0.
Not really giving him much to hit. And good take by Burns, who did not stride. Split in the dirt, slider in the dirt.
There's your runners. So Gomes has to come in here. 2-0 the count. And Burns slaps one to center, but Geyer is there, and Geyer, playing shallow, makes the catch. So another opportunity, and the A's let it slip away. So they leave it loaded. It's still 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the sixth.
next Monday for a special holiday matinee as the A's take on the Detroit Tigers. It's at 1:05 p.m. that afternoon. 15,000 fans will get an A's road camp presented by Comerica Bank. Get your tickets now by calling 877-493-BALL or visiting athletics.com/tickets. Hope we get to see you there enjoying a holiday weekend. Memorial Day, always a special day to recognize all the special military people across the world on Memorial Day. 0 for 8, did we say?
Runners in scoring position.
That's always a horrible number, but unfortunately that's what it is for the A's tonight.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera, who swings at the first pitch, rolls it foul. So the Rays leading 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning. Marcus Semien stays in there at short. Cabrera has hit into a double play and he has popped out.
One of the things that Ron Washington was working on with Marcus Semien was his footwork and positioning of the feet. And one of the things when you work with somebody, whatever sport it might be, you don't want to overload with information that you get out playing the game. You start thinking about things versus just being natural.
And as baseball goes, Semien will get a ground ball to city.
Oh, maybe the first one. Maybe Cabrera right out of the chute. There's Wash. His pupil was working with before the game. He's watching intently. But I like the fact that it looked like Semien had the green light 3-0. It looked like he was ready to hit. Fastball was way, and a very good approach from the A's shortstop that he did not just swing wildly at a pitch out of the strike zone. Stopper better be careful. I think he's outnumbered.
And hooked down the left field line. Fold over to cut it off. He slips, and Cabrera's going to try for 2. Fold's throw is a bit offline. So Fold did a great job getting over there. In fact, Cabrera was going to stay at first with a single, but then Fold just slipped.
Tomahawked a high changeup, and Sam went after it, and right there is when his feet got to give up from under him. That ground up tire, no footing. And Cabrera still does not run that well, but able to coast into second because of the slipping.
So it's a leadoff double. Kurt Young out to talk to Kazmir, who's at 98 pitches. That's the 8th hit off Kazmir. There's been a lot of base runners Kazmir to navigate around today. So Scribner gets up. Rangers still leading the Yankees. It's now 8-4 going to the bottom of the 7th inning in New York. And the Mariners still leading the Blue Jays 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th in Toronto. Tigers 3, Astros 2. 7th inning in Detroit. Inside to Tim Beckham.
And we were talking before about Longoria when he hit the home run. That was a purpose pitch there. The first one to Beckham off the plate. Maybe just to show him the fastball in. And then he can do anything he wants to. He can go back inside. Or he can float a changeup outside or fastball. They're going to back it up in. And a good pitch there. Although caught a lot of the plate.
So 1-1 the count to Tim Beckham. Beckham the strikeout and then the triple. Big bouncer to Sogard. Sogard waits for a good hop, throws in time. So Beckham does his job though. He gets Cabrera to third. So a little small ball by the Rays. And at this point in the game for the Rays, 1 extra run is huge.
And now the infield has to come in. It's got Kazmir. We're trying to get out of yet another jam. Last inning gave up the 3-run home run, then retired the next 3 on the ground. The only inning that has not had a runner left on base. He'd rather have a runner left on base instead of the 3-run home run.
First pitch to Rivera is line foul toward the A's bullpen. So 0-1 the count to Rene Rivera. Fastball inside. But the Angels, Ray, they scored 9 runs in the top of the 5th inning at Fenway. Wow. They lead the Red Sox 11-3 in the top of the 6th inning.
You think the Red Sox have a chance?
Say they're grumbling in Fenway. Pujols homered, Iannetta homered, Ibar homered. So Rick Porcello gives up 7 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. 2-1 to Rivera. And he chased a slider. So the count now 2-2.
Took a lot off the pitch and down and in. And an aggressive hitter. That's what you like to see, and what Rivera really has done tonight. He has been very aggressive, and not surprised to see him swing at a pitch that was out of the strike zone. But when you have the average that he does, he has a couple of home runs. It's because he swings hard. That.
Reddick is under it. Cabrera tagging. Reddick has it. Cabrera comes well down the line, then stops, and now he's got to hustle back. So he went about a quarter of the way toward home plate, but a big out for Kazmir.
Scribner's losing. Bob Melvin quickly running out and tagging at third. Cabrera, I don't know if he ever had a thought of running. He's going to force Reddick to make a strong throw, which he did.
So 106 pitches, and that'll do it for Scott Kazmir. So 5 2/3 tonight as he leaves trailing 3-1. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
Is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Rays 3, A's 1, bottom of the 6th. Kazmir is gone after 5 2/3 innings. Gives up 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. So as Evan Scribner takes the mound, the Rays send up a pinch hitter. It's David DeJesus. DeJesus is going to hit for Geyer. The first pitch, breaking ball, is a bit low.
Number
2.38 is the ERA.
Pitched well, and of course the cut fastball, that slow curve that he just threw, is his specialty. In addition to now the newfound cut fastball. Talk about reacting on a fastball. Watch David DeJesus on a pitch from Jesse Chavez inside, and that was after he doubled the left center on a fastball away. This time he just opened up, reacted, and pulled the fastball, and that's what hitters will do. Just react. Jesus will not hit a lot of home runs, but that time he did.
Curve for a strike. So 1-2. Geyer well in the game. Had a couple signals and a run score. Cabrera the runner at third. 1-2 pitch is hit hard to Sogard, who goes down to a knee. And DeJesus is retired, and so are the Rays. They strand a runner at third. We're headed to the 7th inning from St. Petersburg. 3-1, the Rays lead the 8th. By Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. That's the Rays tank, which is way out in deep right center field. Those aren't fake, folks. Those are the real deal. There they are. So they must be safe because there's a lot of people sticking their arms in there.
I know. That's tamed.
Tamed Rays.
I wouldn't trust them. A tamed Raymond.
Sogard swings at the first pitch, hits it high in the air to center. That's a new center fielder out there, Kevin Kiermaier, and he makes the catch. So Kiermaier comes into the game to play center field, and DeJesus goes over to left after pinch hitting.
I think this is all planned.
Oh, man. I'm not happy about that. Plus, I just don't think when you, what's it, Raymond? When you have a body like Raymond, you can't stand over top of the guy and act and do the muscle pose.
That's a good
right?
point.
Yeah. Good stomper. I mean, listen, it was a.
Just open up. He almost said, please hit me.
Watch
and he
this
did.
right here now. See, you got to be. You can't do that.
Especially with a body like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got to get to the gym, work out a little bit, and then you can do that over top of the guy you punch. So 2-1 to Reddick, who has struck out, walked, and grounded out. A's have stranded 9 through 6 innings, so that's the frustrating part so far. Driven to center, hit well. Kiermaier's back though. Couple steps from the warning track, and he's got it.
And we really don't know if Chris Archer was living in some good luck in the early part of the game, or the A's just cannot come up with a big hit. And when you're 0 for 8 and runners in scoring position, I think it's the latter, unfortunately. But it's kind of been the night for the Athletics, and that was 0 for 8, going in through the 7th inning.
So with 2 outs, Butler hits. Well, last night, and this is the way it's going for the A's, they were 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position, but they got shut out.
Exactly. Well, there were 3 in the first inning when a leadoff triple, and he was stranded at third.
But the fact is that they got 2 hits with runners in scoring position.
That's right.
But didn't score any runs.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
0-1 to Butler, who has singled, struck out, and lined out. And he's behind in the count 0-2. Gomes got the final 2 outs in the 6th inning. And that one right up the middle. Diving attempt by Beckham, but Butler's going to have a hit. So hit number 7 for the A's.
Okay, I think the cheering you were hearing, it wasn't for the strikeout. I think it's more for the hockey. Did they score? So they tied it. Rangers were leading 1-0, and I guess they changed. They tied it.
The Lightning playing. So Gomes is done. We're going to get a left-hander. It's going to be Xavier Cedeno. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. It's your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. At 10:30, it's on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Lots of Warriors coverage. Roz reports from Houston. Monty and Rado will talk about Game 3 issues, and let's not forget about the Eastern Conference Finals. It's the Cavs and the Hawks. They're playing Game 2 tonight. Kelly Johnson and Ed Fareed will host. So the Cavs trying to go up 2-0 on the Hawks. So 3-1. Rays leading. A's have a runner on first. That's Butler with 2 outs. So the new pitcher is Xavier Cedeno.
And not overpowering. Got a little cutter. Deception is key for him. With about 90-mile-an-hour fastball. There's your slider.
So Cedeno with the Astros a couple years ago out of their bullpen.
Real good, right?
He's not great with the Astros, but he looks like he's done a nice job for the Rays. Everybody coming out of their bullpen has really good numbers.
But really, none are very hard throwers. You typically have bullpens that got some fastball pitchers coming in. Rays not in that category, but they do get the job done. Some of them throw the split finger fastball, which makes an exceptional bullpen.
1-1 pitch to Vogt. Reaches for it, hits it high in the air to right field. Souza's back. He's under it, and he's got it. Stephen Vogt just a little out ahead of it. So Xavier Cedeno does his job. He gets the left-handed hitting Vogt out. 3-1 as we go to the 7th inning stretch.
That's Friday, May the 29th. To get ready, make it an all-new Majestic Cool Base jersey, now available at the A's Team Store and athletics.com. Cool Jersey Day a week from today. We'll be at the Coliseum against the New York Yankees.
So bottom of the 7th here in St. Petersburg. Rays with a 3-1 lead. All their runs coming in the 5th inning on one swing of the bat from Evan Longoria. A 3-run shot. So to be Souza, Longoria, and Forsythe against Scribner here in the 7th inning. Souza has struck out, walked, and then he reached on a sacrifice E3, and he scored on the Longoria home run. Rays have high hopes for Steven Souza. They're really got him to replace Will Myers. Will Myers, of course, traded, and Souza with the Nationals played a little bit in the big leagues last year, but they think he's got a chance to be a good player. We'll find out. Got a Jepson out in the Rays bullpen down the right field line. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, and Souza did not go. So the Rays are going to let him play out in right field and see what he can do.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, they've got a lot of young players. They could look at their team and say, well, youngsters, and I mean, leading the way they are, why not just let them play?
Souza's got power, 6 home runs, but one of the problems with him, he struck out a lot. 63 strikeouts. That includes one tonight. 143 at bats. So 2-2. Lays off that one. So now full count. So a little more contact. That's what I'm sure the Rays are hoping for. If you're going to strike out a lot, you better hit some home runs.
That's right.
3-2 pitch, and that one's belted to left field. Full goes up, and he looks up, and it's gone.
Wow.
A line shot home run for Steven Souza, his 7th of the year. So it's 4-1 Rays.
Wow. And it did not take long for that to get out. But you're right, that 7th home run, 17th run batted in, and a fastball kind of tailed back a little bit. Stephen Vogt, he could say that's the way it sounded when he hit it. And Souza, I think he knew it was going to be over the head of Fold. Maybe too much of a line drive to get in the seats, but it ended up doing it.
Here's Longoria. Strike at the knees to Longoria. So the Rays had a home run last night. They got a couple of home runs tonight. Lowry dives, can't get it. Excuse me, Simeon dives, can't get it. So Lowry with the Longoria with a hit. Longoria been on base all 4 times tonight.
And Kurt Young going out, but it's hard to believe that was a shift that just shows how much when contact is made off the bat of Longoria. Look at the shift and expected him to pull more, but he did not. And hit it right through what the A's had at least played defensively.
So a homer and a single against Scribner here to open up the bottom of the 7th. It's Fernando Abad starting to get loose. So Kurt Young is done with the meeting. Rangers still leading the Yankees. It's 8-5 in the top of the 8th inning. York. Blue Jays have scored twice in the bottom of the 9th to make it a 4-3 game. Still batting. So Fernando Rodney making it interesting. Tigers still leading the Astros 3-2, bottom of the 8th inning in Detroit. And the Angels blasting the Red Sox 11-3 in the 7th at Fenway. Tapped slowly. Lowry has it. His only play will be to first. So Forsythe is retired, and now Longoria stands at second base.
And Ron Melvin making the dreaded walk to the mound again with Abad loosening.
Well, the hitter is Kiermaier. This is his spot now in the lineup after coming in for defense. So he's a left-handed hitter.
You have to get Abad straight. I mean, they got to keep bringing him in to try to get him back on track the way he was last year.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
So Abad comes in to face that man, Kevin Kiermaier. A run in on the Souza home run. So 4-1 Rays, bottom of the 7th. So Fernando Abad, as Ray said, has to get straightened out. He's the only lefty in the bullpen right now. And if you're the only lefty in the bullpen, your job is pretty one-dimensional.
That's it. And right now, it's the dimensional that he's trying to do right now.
Get lefties out.
Yeah. And Stephen Vogt has admitted, he said, I've gotten completely in the left-handed or the right-hander's batter's box, moved so far outside trying to get him to follow through and finish. And he'll probably do it now.
A slider, a little bit high.
Lucky didn't swing. That was a hanger.
Kiermaier was 1 for 4 last night with a stolen base. Takes that one in, it's low, so 2-0.
Well, last time Abad pitched, he threw 6 sliders. Finally got the out to a lefty, just stayed with the slider. So it's first two to Kiermaier out of the strike zone. Runner at second, multiple signs. Stephen Vogt said, let's do it again. What's that around his neck?
Two-0 pitch. Yeah, that one's in for a strike. So another slider.
That's what he was trying to shake to, trying to get Stephen Vogt to call the slider. So that's 9 in a row, considering his last appearance. Outside signs, not typical signs that you see.
Fastball, and Kiermaier had a very good swing. Count even 2-2.
You know, lefty on lefty, if you're basically, as a left-handed pitcher, a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, then as a hitter, you're going to guess. And you usually guess fastball. And now with 2 strikes, it changes, but kind of forcing the pitcher, if he does throw a fastball, throw it in a count to where maybe you can throw it well enough to get it by.
Well, jam shot, going to be a tough play, and Kiermaier beat it. He's very fast. And once it just went right over the head of Abad, Simeon was going to have a tough time getting the speedy Kiermaier.
Well, you're right. Kiermaier flies, and actually Simeon had 0 chance. And Kiermaier, as he crossed the back, kind of turned around. See what the call is going to be. I think he knew it. That's the speed, and this one just an infield hit. Usually they will go for 2, or at least think about going for 2 when he rounds the bag aggressively.
So first and third, 1 out, and here's another left-handed hitter, James Loney.
And you're thinking about a possible double play, but you also have Kiermaier, who loves to run. That may negate that. That's why they're throwing over.
So Scribner goes 2/3 of an inning. Fastball up and in. Scribner gives up a couple of hits, including the home run, and the runner at third, Longoria, is his responsibility. One-0 pitch is hit in the air, medium deep. Fold sets up. Longoria tags Longoria, turns around to look, and the throw is there, and they got him. Longoria turned around and looked at the left fielder.
How about that? Well, Sam did a great job setting up behind it. Knew that Longoria was going to try it. Set up, and a strong over-the-top throw. And if you look back, you wonder why. Stephen Vogt applied the tag, got him by plenty.
second base, and then Longoria at home.
This is not how you do it. That's how you do it with Sam Fuld, but not from the runner standpoint. But a perfect one-hot throw to Stephen Vogt. But like you said, with Evan Longoria looking back, he goes back to tag, but watch what he does as he starts to take off. He tags, but then there, I think, he's thrown to the plate. Jeez.
Why would you? I have no idea. Just don't understand why you would do that.
You know, the only reason, look back thinking maybe the runner from first was going to take off and Sam might go there and he was going to hurry to score before the out might occur at second. But you never turn around and look. You have to head down and take off.
And a terrific throw by Sam Fuld. 4 outfield assists now on the season. He's got a good arm. New pitcher is Kevin Jepsen.
You know, the thing with Sam Fuld, his technique is exceptional. That's the whole key, because you see guys get back on their back foot, and you can't do that as an outfielder. You have to get back and then time your catch as you approach the ball. The number is for Jepsen, new to the Rays this year.
Pitched the 7th inning last night. Right on the outside corner, 1-2, 94 miles an hour.
The bullpen of the Rays doing it again tonight, as they did last night for 4 innings. Cole may get the save.
Swing and a miss, but Laurie's going to make it to first. The ball was in the dirt. So at this point, the A's will take base runners any way they can get them.
There's no chance for Rivera. I mean, this breaking ball just biting hard in the dirt, and behind the plate tried to block it, couldn't do it. And he knew once Laurie found out the ball got by him, he was going to make it easily to first base. Take it. That's like a base hit, like a rope.
At this point, yes. So Muncy steps in, runner at first, nobody out. That's the 5th time the A's have gotten their leadoff man aboard. Of course, one of those was the Vogt home run, but I guess that's the best thing to do, right? Get your leadoff man on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
get him around. Yeah. He did it himself.
He didn't get hit runner in scoring position. He was in scoring position when he hit it.
Right. Muncy hits one high in the air, room for Kiermaier. And Kiermaier has it. So Muncy 0 for 3 with a walk. The game's a final in Toronto. Seattle 4. The Blue Jays 3. Nelson Cruz hit another home run. He's got 17 home runs. He came into the game today leading the American League in average, home runs, and RBIs. It's Miguel Cabrera stuff there.
Yeah, triple crown.
So Felix Hernandez went 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits.
They always score for him.
Yep. And he really needs it too. Runner goes, good jump. Rivera's throw is late. Stolen base for Laurie. So he must have got a good read on Jepsen.
Well, they got a walking, running lead off first, and as soon as Jepsen hardly paid attention to him, and he looked back for some reason. Maybe, I mean, if you're running like that, you run until you hear contact.
So Arnold Leone is going to start loosening up. So here's Simeon. Simeon walked as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. And he tries to hold up, and he does.
And Cap, you've mentioned, and we've talked about, that when a base runner off first, as Laurie, got a tremendous jump. He basically had stolen second, had it stolen easily, but Marcus Simeon took the pitch, and it was a strike. But you see him get that kind of a lead and that jump, you take the pitch, and even though it is a strike, at least you have a runner in scoring position.
It's a good fastball from Jepsen, and the count 1-2. He's trying to help you out by giving you a chance to pick up an RBI. Laurie with his lead, the 1-2 pitch. A little bit outside. Sam Fuld will be next. Grounded to short. Cabrera scoops, throws in time. And that's the second out. Laurie goes to third.
I was thinking last night there are two relief pitchers who are very happy about John Jaso being with the Rays. And you remember when Jepsen and Ferrari were with the Angels in back-to-back years in April of 13 and 14. Jepsen had a runner on with a 1-run lead. Right. Jaso pinched hit, 2-run home run. That next year, almost a year to the day, Ferrari with the 2-1 lead, runner on, Jaso pinched hit, home run.
And they were basically game-winning home runs.
They were game-winning home runs. Late, Derek Norris started both times against a left-handed pitcher, and Jaso came in to pinch hit with Ferrari and Jepsen in back-to-back years. And, I mean, we were all shocked. I mean, to see Jaso, who does not hit a lot of home runs.
Big home run.
No. And he crushed them in Anaheim, both of them there. So they're happy. Say, hey, we got a teammate now. We don't have to worry about him hitting home runs against us. I think they would just like to get him back active because he's still on the disabled list.
At the knees, a strike 1-1 to Sam Fuld, who was singled and struck out twice. Trying to get Laurie home. On the ground towards second. Beckham has it. Side retired. So another runner stranded. That's 11 stranded runners for the A's tonight. 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the eighth. One 7-1 for the Athletics, 4-11-0 for the Rays. Scott Kazmir, a lot of base runners tonight, and the A's 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They just cannot get anything going. They've stranded 11 in their first 8 innings of batting. Chris Archer, 8 strikeouts, but a lot of pitches. Did get into the 6th inning, and Longoria with a 3-run homer. So that's your Toyota game summary. So one more at bat for the Athletics to try to come back. Arnold Leone takes over. 3rd appearance at the big league level for Leone.
Well, one he'll never forget, April 22nd in Anaheim, a game in which the A's had a comfortable lead. He pitched the 9th inning and was optioned back to AAA after that by Melvin Newitt. Leone was so excited, got everything signed, his major league debut. Good to see Fernando Abad get out of a jam, and unusual double play with a 7-2 putout.
So 1-1 to Cabrera. Hit into a double play, popped out and doubled. Beckman to follow, and then Rivera. Swing and a miss. Ball. Good movement away from Cabrera. It's a final in Detroit. The Tigers beat the Astros 6-2. So the Tigers have won the first 2 games of that series against Houston. Rangers still leading the Yankees, but it's close. A wild one. 10-8 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Remember, the Rangers had a 7-0 lead in that game early, but the Yankees have come storming back. We know that the Mariners won. Angels leading the Red Sox 11-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. So that one's probably not over yet.
2 straight Detroit against Houston.
Yeah. Cabrera strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
I always thought it was interesting talking to Arnold Leon as against this lefty, pulling the string ball, tailing really nicely away from him. He's got a good fastball, and he played in the Mexican League where he was originally signed and been in the A's organization for 8 years. But a lot of times hitters will go to the Mexican League to learn how to hit the off-speed pitches because it's predominantly what is thrown. Leon, with a good fastball, actually played at Culiacan and said he learned how to throw a pretty good breaking ball as a pitcher. So it kind of worked in reverse for him. But he's got a good fastball. He's able to use it. And Bob Melvin is making sure he's gotten a chance to pitch at this level. And, of course, the way the bullpen's going, looking for anybody to have success. And if you have success in the A's bullpen right now, you're going to get a chance to pitch.
That one's hit well to left center. And it's going to be another home run for the Rays, and that was a long one. So Tim Beckham homers.
Should have thrown a slider, he learned. Because that was a fastball, belt high, and long gone. Wow.
Boy, look where this one landed.
I know.
It went over the bleachers.
Well, look at the location, too. That was one of those you could say in batting practice. I mean, he knew it, and everybody knew it. And, yeah, left center. It's not the easiest part of the field to hit. If you hit it like that, it's going to go easily.
So 5-1 now, Rays lead. What a play by Laurie. Gets up, throws to first, and they got him. Terrific play by Brett Laurie. Full extension to his left, gets up quickly, and then shows off that terrific arm.
Rivera's had quite a night. He tried to stretch a single into double. Sam Folk threw him out a second, and now looked like he had a base hit, give him a couple of hits for the night. And Brett Laurie, great extension, dive, quickly getting up, did not have to hurry as much as he did, still got Rivera by plenty. But a nice play, and that's a time when you can go to your left and be able to handle that. Takes the strong and at least the longer throw away from the shortstop to go in the hole. Plus, he just wants to move all around all over the place.
So 0-1 the count to David DeJesus, his second at bat. He pinch hit in the 6th inning and grounded out. Well, we've talked about infielders and even outfielders diving. Sometimes guys maybe dive when they don't have to.
Yeah.
That was a play where the infielder, in this case Laurie, absolutely had to dive. His glove hand was stretched out completely.
Yeah.
Frieri starts to throw. Ernesto Frieri. Three and one now to DeJesus. 9th inning, it'll be the top of the order for the A's. Burns, Sogard, and Reddick, but they'll be trailing by at least 4. The 3-1 pitch. Looked like DeJesus was taken all the way, and it's a strike.
Brett, nice to see the range. That's always a key, and you don't even really see Simeon, the shortstop, in the picture, so it was all him. If he doesn't make the play, then Rivera has a base hit.
Payoff pitch to DeJesus is hit high and foul. off the facing of the upper deck. Well, the Rays not a huge home run hitting team. They're about in the middle of the pack as far as total home runs hit. But 3 tonight and 4 now in the series. Another 3-2 pitch and another foul ball in just about the same spot. He's now with 41 home runs this year. They came in 8th in the league in that category. So the battle continues. Leon to De Jesus, and again hit high, and this should be foul, and it will be. So again, 3-2. Here it is. This one's driven to center. Burns toward left center. Hit pretty well, but room out there for Burns. He's got it. Side retired, but another home run. Tim Beckham, a long one, and it's 5-1 as we go to the ninth.
They call him here. Got a breaking ball. Rivera shot down the corner, played the carom off the wall perfectly. Sam Foe with a strong throw to second base, and Sogard put his head right in front of the tag and blocked him off and got it. Then a sac fly, a possibility, but Longoria for some reason decided to look back. That cost him maybe a step or two. Perfect throw by Sam to the plate. A double play on a 7-2. So play of the game for Sam Foe. He is a Honda player of the game and very deserving defensively for Sam tonight.
So we got a new pitcher. It's Ernesto Frieri. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Well, the A's know plenty about Frieri. His days with the Angels. And there was a time when he was tough to hit, but for some reason, he's really struggled the last couple years.
Well, they struggled with the Angels, and they let him go. And they changed closers. They ended up trading for Houston Street. Frieri moved on to the National League and found a free agent contract here with the Rays, trying to do something to their bullpen. Boxberger there was their closer. And there he is, if the A's are fortunate to do some damage in this inning.
In 2013, Frieri had 37 saves for the Angels. And a swinging strikeout by Billy Burns, 1 out. Well, make sure you join us tomorrow. It'll be Game 3 of this 4-game series here in St. Petersburg. Kendall Graveman back up to the big leagues, and he will be opposed by Nathan Karn. So a couple of young right-handers trying to make their way in the big leagues. It'll be a 12:30 A's pregame live. Again, that's 12:30, and then about 1:10 the ball game. Complete A's coverage also every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. So a local start time of 4:10 for first pitch.
Nobody can figure out why, but I guess a concert post game. But they usually start at 6 o'clock, but it is a 4 o'clock local.
So Graveman will be back in the big leagues. He is here. He was in the dugout. Saw him today. Sogard has a hit tonight. He's 1 for 4, hitting in the second spot. Amazing race. Sogard today is starting his 31st consecutive game.
How about that?
31st consecutive game. Down the left field line, DeJesus will not get there. Drops in foul territory.
And really, all that could change effective Monday, and we'll see when Ben Zobrist comes back. But you will never see or hear Eric Sogard complain about playing. I mean, it is outstanding, and he's done an admirable job of, I wouldn't say filling in, just getting a chance to play and giving Ben Zobrist a chance to get healthy, which we hope that is occurring right now.
A liner into left center field. That's a base hit. Kiermaier cuts it off and gets it back in quickly. So a 1-out hit for Sogard. He's 2 for 5.
Right fielder, Josh Reddick.
Right. Had one in the first inning, left center like this. And here in the ninth inning, the same thing. Off speed and just served it out to left field. I bet he's a great tennis player.
You think?
Yeah. Serve it out there like that. Great job.
So here's Reddick. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. First pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. Frieri to finish the story on him after those 37 saves in 2013. The Angels were thinking, hey, you know what? We got a closer. And then in 2014, he was just not good.
Maybe it was a Jason home run early.
Maybe. Base hit, right center field. Sogard will round second. He'll head to third. And the A's have 2 on and 1 out here in the ninth. Frieri not fooling anybody.
Josh Reddick loading up nicely on the pitch away and able to pull it through the shift on the right side. Boxberger's been loose. He was actually down on his knees and kind of waiting, and it is a safe situation when the time run the on deck circle. So we'll see what Kevin Cash decides to do, but it's a nice hit by Josh Reddick and gives him a hit and a walk tonight.
And again, those add-on runs in both the 7th, the home run, and the 8th, the home run, both solo shots, but it turns a 3-1 game into a 5-1 game.
Well, this is what Brent Strom was telling us with Houston about the closer. Do you bring him in a 4-run lead, or do you not let him start and have someone get in trouble, and then you have to bring him in eventually in a safe situation, but much more difficult than just to come in and try to get the final 3 out. See, he's trying to mount another comeback as they usually do.
Butler reaches for it, hits it to shallow right down the line. Souza on the run, and Souza reaches out. He caught it. Here comes Sogard, and he will score. So sacrifice fly for Butler, but a very good play by Steven Souza. We've been told he's a very good outfielder, but we saw it right there.
Well, the speed is the key. He was able to take what looked like maybe extra bases from Billy Butler. A little cut fastball down away and Butler going, and Souza catching it. His momentum taking him into foul territory. And a very strong throw, and what's up? And down by 4, and you're taking a chance. Yeah, Cash running out. He's going to bring his closer in. Strong throw from the right fielder. Sogard scoring easily. Cash doesn't waste any time. He runs out. So will receive the one-of-a-kind Stephen Vogt referee bobblehead driven by Chevrolet, which features audio of his referee calls and the famous fan chant. If you definitely believe in Stephen Vogt, as we all do, get your tickets now by calling 877-493-BALL, or you can visit athletics.com/tickets. And we showed last night some of the great video audio of the great Stephen Vogt. Referee calls, it's outstanding. Now he's trying to do his own referee and keep this inning going.
So Boxberger comes in. First pitch is a strike. Reddick will go down to second base. So Boxberger, a save situation. So he's 12 for 12 this year, having a sensational season. First time closer for the Rays. That one cued up the third base line foul. If you come into the middle of an inning and the tying run is in the on-deck circle, then it's a save situation.
And watching Ferrari walk off the mound, he was in a closer situation before with the Angels, and now experiencing a setup role. Brett Lawrie would love to hit again. He finished the game last night in an unfortunate way against Boxberger in a game the A's were trailing 3-0, and they'd like to do it again. They have different results, but it's not going to happen.
And just like that, 3 pitches, Vogt strikes out, and Boxberger comes in to get a 3-pitch save. And for the second night in a row, the Rays defeat the Athletics. So the A's now 14-30 on the year, and they have lost 8 out of their last 9. So the struggles continue for the Athletics. Tonight, the Rays, good pitching, and they use the long ball, hitting 3 home runs. Final score, Tampa Bay Rays 5 and the Athletics 2. You've been watching A's Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody Brazil and Bip Roberts starts right now.